have some.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yes Have Some podcast. My name is Craig Goldberg. Welcome to the show. It is almost that time. That's right. It's Oscar season, and I know Jacob
I was like,
watches.
what time?
It's Oscar season.
Oh,
cares?
the child.
The child. Yes, it's time. No, that was in New Year's Eve, December.
Yeah.
No, it's the Academy Awards. There's people are watching movies I've never heard of and talking about it's the greatest movie they've ever seen. I'll tell you one thing. What was that movie last year? What was that Western that came out last year that everyone was freaking out about?
Something with the dog.
Power of the
Power of the dog.
And I remember watching it and being like, this was amazing. I can't remember that movie, and I'll never watch it again.
I remember watching it and being like, okay, this is fine. It was fine. It wasn't anything special about it.
Nothing special.
I liked it.
Have you guys seen Tar? Everyone's talking about Tar.
No.
I want to see Tar.
Yeah, I mean, Jason Reitman was talking about Tar in his story, so that
Which I
got me
actually,
interested.
when he said Tar was his favorite movie of the year, I was like, God, Jason Reitman's so cool. He just calls Avatar Tar. That's like the way he says it. It's like he shortens it. It's kind of awesome if you think about it.
Yeah.
I
I still haven't seen Avatar 2.
I mean, me either, and I never will, but the fact that it's nominated as an Avatar movie is nominated for Best Picture. Like, come on, guys. Really?
Hey, I walked in on Abby
There's
watching
no fucking
Avatar
way.
the other day.
Don't share my business.
What?
Yeah, I had it
On
on
purpose?
because, when the Oscar nominations came out, I was like, wait, why is this nominated? Then I was like, well, maybe I need to go see it. And before doing that, I was like, I should watch the original. And I did put it on. Didn't make it through much, honestly. I was like,
Bad. It's
just
bad.
yeah, it's
Like
really not groundbreaking except for visually and if you're in the theater seeing the 3D.
I remember seeing the
pretty
3D
lackluster.
of Avatar and being really impressed. Like, man, he did it. James Cameron did it again. I don't give a fuck about Avatar now.
I mean, I'd still like to see it in the movie theater just to check it off my list and maybe there's some sort of magic. I've heard people say it's really great. I mean, I'd go see it this weekend if y'all wanted to, but I know you don't. I
You
know.
can go by yourself if you want.
I know.
I
Jake
hope
and
I
Paolo
die
are gonna
before
go.
I see that movie. I don't ever want to see it.
Yeah,
I hope
guess
you
it's
die while
fear of
watching
missing
it.
out on my part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might.
So that's our Avatar review. Sometimes I feel bad because I feel like almost like an obligation a little bit because it's we've got a podcast. It's very movie centric, and it's should I see? It is it just passed Avengers Endgame in box office. I don't know anybody who's seen it, but apparently there's a lot of people out there seeing Avatar. I haven't met one person. I was in this meeting today, a work meeting, and I was like, hey, there's 40 people in here, and everyone was talking about movies, and I was like, show of hands. Have you seen Avatar, the new one? And nobody had seen it. I'm like, normally when a movie's really popular and you're in a big group of people, at least 10 people had seen it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So something weird's going on. I think James Cameron's buying all the tickets. That's my theory.
Yeah,
probably.
and the
That's something he
nomination.
would do.
They
Well,
fucked
nominate-
somebody.
Somebody
Oscar-
owes something.
Oscar nominations are, it's like a thing. It's a thing that sometimes they're political or they're bullshit or it's
I think
it's
a lot of times.
it's widely known that people will
Mhm.
they'll just give an Oscar win to somebody and they're like, well, they did really good last year. There's all kinds of bullshit. The
There's weird
Oscars are
stuff.
complete. Yeah, it's
Unlike the Jeffreys,
unlike the
Unlike the
Jeffrey.
which are
Jeffries.
pure
Now,
and unbiased.
I'd rather talk about the Razzies. Did you see that there was all that bullshit because the Razzies
Yeah.
nominated a 12-year-old girl and people got mad? And I'm like, hey, she deserves that nomination. I saw that movie.
What
It's
movie?
the worst movie I saw this year, Firestarter.
Oh.
They nominated
yeah.
that girl. And it ain't all her fault because everything about that movie was bad. But
Yeah. The source
if you're
material is
gonna
not
be-
very
if
good.
you're going to be an actor, hey, if you're going to be an actor, you're going to put yourself out there and go do films. You
Yeah.
have to be okay with the Razzies is always kind of silly. It's in fun.
Right.
Yeah, they're pointing out bad movies, but it's on you whether
still
or
getting
not you want
attention.
to. Yeah, people have
Mhm.
real actors have shown up to the Razzies to accept their
Right.
awards and stuff.
Here's my
I don't
theory.
care that she's 12. She's a bad actor in that movie.
Here's my
what do you want me
theory.
to say?
If you're 14 or 15 years old which is not much older than 12, and you get a job at a ice cream store, and you're really
I like ice cream store.
Mm-hmm.
right. So you're at the ice cream store.
Okay.
I don't want to call out any specific ones that seem to only hire.
When I was 15, I worked at a place that sold ice cream.
Was it Brewster's?
No, it's Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
I've told the story many times.
So listen, let's
Got
say
fired.
you're 14 and you work at the ice cream store, but you really suck at scooping ice cream, and they fire you because you're like, you're not cutting it. This was not the
Right.
vocation for you. What is Twitter going to get mad? You shouldn't have fired that 14-year-old. They just try
She's
their
bad
best.
at your job. You're bad at your job. You're bad at your job.
She's bad at scooping.
I'm
I
still
feel
gonna.
bad.
Hey, I'm still gonna send her a Razzie.
Should we make our? Oh, wait a minute.
In my heart, she wins.
We
Listen.
should be rewarding or awarding the bad ones too.
Well, is there like so you have the Oscars and you
what
have the
it is.
Golden Globes? Maybe we
Yeah.
can start a second.
I think it's celebrating. Yeah, it's kind of
There needs to be a second
Not all
award show for celebrating the worst of cinema, and I think we can start it. I don't know what it would be called. It wouldn't be the Razzies, which is
Oh,
a bad,
it would
bad
be
name.
like the Rotten Tomatoes or something.
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
throw tomatoes at them. I don't know.
Well, that we might get sued for that one.
Right.
rotten trash.
Hi. Welcome
Don't
to
even
Yes
try to
Episode.
make it sound. Don't even try to make it sound fun. Just like
Yeah, you stick your hand like with the glove into the trash can and pull out the winner.
And the winner of Best Supporting Actor in the Rotten Trash Awards is I don't know who else was in Firestarter. The other guy from Firestarter.
What's his name? Yeah,
Oh, Zac Efron.
Zac Efron.
Anyways, so Razzies update confirmed. We did it. I've been reading a lot about it. Well, Abby, real quick on that. Do you think there's a lot of websites that are like criticizing like Variety and Deadline for even reporting on the Razzies, that it's just not kind? But like Jake said, I think it's kind of all in fun. Like some movies just are bad.
Yeah. I think there's a culture of people that like enjoy lampooning and the badness of B movies. I mean, I know in like the horror genre, that's like kind of a thing to love the really bad stuff. And I think that it's like it's gonna happen. Why not be honest and talk about it? And like, I don't think that it's too hurtful. And I would be happy at least to have my performance mentioned getting a Razzie.
So you'd like to win a Rotten
yeah,
Trash
I'd
Award.
like to.
If
For the
all-
Jeffries.
if Hollywood could all sit in a fucking room together and jerk each other off and talk about how great their movies were that nobody's heard of, or
Yeah.
fucking put up Top Gun and Avatar for an Oscar for Best Picture and like not put up movie. Hey, Nope came out.
Menu wasn't.
Nope came out this year, and you know what? Nope created an entirely breakthrough new way to film at night, and it is a way that has never been used before. It was specifically created in Nope, and it looked beautiful. That is the kind of stuff that should be up for awards, but
Should be
instead,
rewarded. Yeah.
you know, there's like bullshit. Like Nope isn't on there at all for anything. So
Yeah, it
If-
should
if
be
they-
at least up there.
if they can all
Some of
sit
the
in a
time.
room and like just give each other fake awards because they want to, then they can fucking deal with little people being like, "You suck!" Like,
Right.
whatever. Who cares?
Right.
It's all fake.
I
It's true.
the way you said that, I was like, "What? Oh, okay." I didn't
What?
like when you said little people, you meant people like us, right?
Not rich Hollywood people.
The
Okay,
layman.
The
I thought
Razzies
you
is
meant
like the Razzies aren't like the Hollywood elite, you know?
right. Yeah.
Mhm.
And either will be the Rotten Trash Awards. But I'm here. I wanted to. You brought up Top Gun, and I want to bring this up. I liked Top Gun Maverick a lot. I liked the first Top Gun. I thought it was a really good, like, legacy sequel. But Best Picture, come
Right.
on,
Dude.
Right.
like if
No way. Like, I need to just say that. I may have been like getting COVID when I saw that movie, but
it
I
gave you COVID.
yeah, it was not an interesting story to me. There was, it doesn't make sense to see that as a best picture when there were so many movies that were overlooked.
I want to say this, and listen, you can call me a homer, you can call me a fanboy, But if Top Gun Maverick as a legacy sequel is getting a Best Picture nomination, where the fuck was the Ghostbusters Afterlife Best Picture nomination? Because that movie,
At least in visual effects, like
listen,
Right. Groundbreaking.
okay. No spoiler alert. There's a scene with Val Kilmer in the new Top Gun, and it is good and it's touching. And Val Kilmer's been a lot in through his personal life and everything else, and it was a well done scene. But literally, if you want to talk about emotion, you want to talk about Egon Spengler helping his family from beyond the grave. That's a real thing we saw, and it should have gotten every award, including the Razzies and the Rotten Trash. They should have
give everything.
The Razzies should have been like, listen, Ghostbusters Afterlife was so good, we're completely changing the entire scope of how we now give movies like that deserve awards, the actual awards.
Only for this year, though.
And they're shaped like proton packs.
Yeah. And then the girl from Firestarter's like, does mine count as good? No. It was real bad still.
It still sucks.
But I did kind of throw this out. I wanted, maybe we should talk about this off air, but we could do it on air. I kind of wanted to do like a live stream, maybe like 45 minutes or something after the Oscars this year.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like,
when are they?
Beginning of March sometime. It's like a Sunday night. But I said, Abby, I said I was going to see every Oscars movie, but there's no way I'm going to.
You haven't, yeah. I think at this point I've seen like 4 or 5 out of
10. It's too many.
Yeah. I have the list somewhere, yeah.
But anyways, I think Triangle of Sadness might be. I mean, I know that's kind of like the trendy thing to say right now, but it might be my favorite movie of the year.
It was great, yeah. There's a guy that I'm friends with on Facebook, and I don't like actually know him personally. I think I met him through a Facebook group or something, and I'm not 100% aware of what his job is, but it has something to do with teaching film classes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But he has he has the worst takes. And he made a post about, he's like going through watching the Oscar movies, and he watched Triangle of Sadness, and he was like, I've never heard of this. It's way too fucking long. It's so, he's like, I don't get it. This movie sucks. And I'm like, you suck, dude. I'm like, you are I'm like, the fact that you're a film teacher and your analysis of this movie is basic. Like, I don't know. I just don't get some people.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to spoil it. No, you're not.
No,
grouchy.
It's good. I feel a little grouch too, and I like it for Hot Trash Awards. Wait, they're not called Hot Trash. They're
it's already changed.
It's already changed.
It's
I was developing them in my head.
We'll call them the PKE Awards.
Oh, that's great. Just goes right in the trash. No, I was gonna say it could be like a little raccoon, holding. Yeah,
I like that.
A golden raccoon.
I like Triangle of Sadness a lot. I thought it was great. If you haven't seen it, go out of your way to see it. We all took in Mr. Spielberg's latest effort, The Fablemans.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, guess what? I think Steven Spielberg can make a really nice movie picture. Like, he knows what he's doing.
I think he's
got it.
I think he's got it.
He's going places.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie was great.
The Fablemans was great. Now, would you guys say, if you're looking at like the last, 10 years of Steven Spielberg's career, a little bit of a rut?
Yeah.
I mean, I West Side Story was pretty cool. I will say that.
I haven't seen that yet.
You haven't seen West Side Story?
I mean,
no,
he had the entire original movie to kind of.
I listened to an interview with him.
I wouldn't say that was his.
I don't know how much that counts.
Yeah.
He did not
or
write
I wouldn't
those
say that
lyrics.
his additions were that like memorable to the film.
Well, I will say this. For West Side Story, he went out of his way to say he based it on the play, not the movie. And
Still.
I heard an interview where he talked about how he filmed all the choreography beforehand on his iPhone.
I listened to this interview. Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. And then what else? I don't know. What else has he made? War Horse? Nobody saw that.
Lincoln, and that movie was wide. Like, that movie's pretty good, but
I like Lincoln.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have his movies in front of me, like what he made, so I'm not sure. Last 10 years.
Yeah. I don't think the conversation.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the conversation isn't so much about how his last decade of films were, as much as how this film was like a very authentic, like it's like a therapy session, which I've seen mentioned. He said he's never been to therapy, and making this movie was like doing that. And I think it's worth viewing. Like just to see someone who's that accomplished and that's that iconic, be like showing those little slices and those like memories, the PTSD stuff. Like I think it's a really valuable experience to go and watch like how he learned and fell in love with film and kind of took the way that it helped him. And that stuff in the movie, like the personal family stuff, I am all about. I think it was a really special movie. Some people might say self-indulgent, but like I'm saying, Steven Spielberg could be self-indulgent.
He's earned it.
Yeah, he's earned it.
He's earned it.
In my opinion.
It's
worth the $20.
Now, after I saw Ready Player One, I was like, he needs to do something. I don't like this.
I agree.
Yeah,
it's he's made a lot of great movies in the last 10 years, but he hasn't made any Jurassic Parks or Jaws or ETs in the last 10 years. So it's
right.
Yeah.
Go out of your way. See The Fablemans. It was great.
Good.
I don't want to spoil it, but it was great. And Michelle Williams is up for Best Actress.
Incredible.
And she deserves it. She's great. Although I'm dumb. I'm a big dumb.
After them killing her off in the final episode of Dawson's Creek, she deserves it.
Whoa, major.
Spoilers.
She's been through a lot in her
Yeah.
life. She was married to Heath Ledger. It was tragic what happened to him. By the way, while I was watching it, I was like, this is unbelievable. Can you believe it? Paul Dano played the Riddler. Michelle Williams was married to the Joker, and now they're married in this movie. And I was literally I thought I was really impressed with that.
Ooh.
In my head, I was like, oh, this is a fun fact. I should bring it to the world.
Sure.
And now I'm saying it out loud, and I realized it's kind of stupid.
It's kind of minutiae.
It is, for sure.
It's actually a really dumb thing to say. I'm really fucking mad that I said it.
You shouldn't have said it.
So are we.
By the way, guys, thanks for watching Yes Have Some Podcast. This is fun. I'm having a great time. Okay, so the Oscars are coming up. Let's get into some news like about Ghostbusters, because it's like a big important thing in our life. It still is. It always will be. I wanted to talk about, and Jacob, you mentioned it, this Hasbro HasLab Proton Pack. I know we've covered it in depth on Toy Anxiety.
Kinda, not really.
Oh yeah,
I mean, not since it's come out. Like, you did a standalone video, but we didn't all talk about it. We didn't.
Yeah, we acknowledge it had come out. You haven't got your hands on yours yet, but I think like the it's kind of from a Ghostbusters fan community, which we're all proud members of, perspective. There's just, I feels like there's a lot to quote me on this one, no pun intended, unpack here. So.
Okay,
Jake, how are you feeling about this?
We're talking about the fallout, the reaction.
the
nuclear fallout of the
fallout from too many proton packs in the world. No, I mean, I feel good about it. It's cool. It's cool that it's 2023 and there's like a major, one of the biggest toy companies in the world is putting out a mass produced, like, I don't know, like 98% accurate proton pack, full scale. Like that's a crazy thing. I remember the first time I saw somebody wearing a proton pack, it like literally blew. I was like, whoa, that's possible to do, to have.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
Right.
And like building your first one is crazy and it feels amazing. And now that you can like buy one, it's cool. And I mean, I guess you can't, like, if you haven't bought one, you can no longer buy one. But you could have bought one. The fact that it was out there and, I got one. It's not like, we've talked about this before, like, I'm not going to be wearing it to conventions. It is a toy. I'm going to put it, on display proudly with my other, like, props. But I just think it's cool. I just think it's cool that we live in the world where it exists. It seems like a big, expensive, hard. The fact that they made it and it was like $400, it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You would think it would be thousands of dollars to own a proton pack.
Well, I mean, if you think about like when Anovos was doing the building, those kits, and they did like a fully built, more prop accurate Spangler pack, it was like $4,000, and also they never sent it to anybody.
So nobody got one of those.
Nobody got one. So it's like, would you rather pay $400 for this really great replica or $4,000 for nothing? You just get nothing. Abby, let's talk about the fallout a little bit. Seems like the Ghostbusters community,
they have a lot to say.
Okay, if you're new to the podcast or if you're seeing this for the first time, if you're not in depth of the community, let me kind of break down what's happening here. Okay, so you've got like different, like, you remember in Ghostbusters 2 with Peter Venkman, where with his laundry, there was many subtle levels and layers here of cleanliness. You've got the first group, which I think we fall into, which are, we're huge Ghostbusters fans. We're toy collectors. We're also pretty ingrained in the fan community and the prop community and all that. But we're just excited because it's a Ghostbusters product. It's a 1-to-1 scale proton pack. It looks amazing. It was somewhat affordable, and Hasbro has the master license for Ghostbusters, and they're absolutely killing it. Knocked it out of the park, and it's an amazing Ghostbusters collectible, and we're just happy to have it, and we can sleep peacefully at night knowing that we do. I think that's the category we fall into.
Yeah.
Because, Abby, we're level-headed, like...
Yeah, super grateful, like, yeah.
Humble,
Even keel.
super humble.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so humble. That's what people say.
Why, Joe? Look how humble they are. And then there's like a second layer of this is where it kind of gets fun. There's like okay, and then the exact opposite of that are the people who just didn't get one, who wanted one, and they act like they don't like it or care about it. But it's just they're envious because they didn't get one, and that's like the and that happens with every toy.
So they get mean about it.
Yeah, you see it with every, like, the people who are like, Galactus is a stupid character anyway, so like why would you even want that?
Yeah.
My 12-inch Galactus from 1998 is just as good. So
It's just as good.
It's the
Why would
same
anybody want a
thing.
3-foot Galactus figure?
Yeah, but then you've got all these other layers. So you've got, let's say, you've got the old school prop collectors who appreciate it, maybe even own one, but still are like turning their nose up at it any chance they get.
Which is the weirdest thing possible. I have a lot of friends that are friends of mine who I know own fully accurate Ghostbuster props, proton packs that weigh 40 pounds that are like the best looking proton. They bought this and they still want to make a post and like, well, it's still not a real one. Still not as good. And it's like,
right.
What's the point of you saying that?
Right.
Yeah. They're like Kino in the second Turtles movie, where it's like, you get rejected, then it's like, oh, I would want something thinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We can see through it. Yeah.
They lash out. People just want to lash out at it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you've got another layer, which is the hardcore prop guys who didn't get one, who are just so sick of hearing about it. They're so sick of it.
Oh, is this a HasLab group now on Facebook? Is that what this is?
Right.
Every Ghostbusters Facebook group has had to make a giant annoying post about HasLab packs. And I do not understand why they're doing it. It makes you all sound kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I will go on record. Please don't, Craig, please don't cut me saying that out.
No, I don't. There's no.
I want
edits
them to
tonight.
know. I want
Tonight's
you guys
all
to
about
know.
putting down 12-year-old actresses. Listen, we come from the world of Logan Kim and McKenna Grace, all right? We know what good kid actors can do. And if you're not starting the fire, get out of the heat, you know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or get out of the... If the
I don't
fire's
think you said it right. I don't think you
I
said
don't
it
think
right.
you
But
did.
it's okay.
The fire,
That's getting cut.
if the fire's in the kitchen, you better not be in there.
If
Okay, there's other layers. You thought I was
How
done?
many layers are you going to go through?
Like 2 or 3 more.
Okay.
There's another. So that was like the hardcore prop collectors who are just mad that they exist. Then you've got the hardcore Ghostbusters fans who finally got a pack for the first time in their life. And instead of being excited about it, they're going around trying to like buck up to all the old school prop collectors going, you're just mad and you're just, which this is my favorite group. This is my favorite. This is my favorite.
It's your favorite group.
And then it goes on, and there's and then like way down the line, there's all the people who have spirit packs who put a bunch of money into modifying their spirit packs who are
They're so mad.
they're all kind of mad.
They're
all
so mad.
They're all standing off into the side. But here's my rule of thumb: if your toy or action figure is named after the store you bought it in, there's something weird going on. Okay. Right.
We're not spirit shaming. It's just
no anything. Like it's like if you're drinking a drink that you bought at Publix and it has the word Publix in it, it's not as good because it's the store
it's the store brand. Yeah. Well, also spirit packs. Like I know a lot of people like the spirit packs for kids or just whatever because they're scaled down, but they're specifically cheap Halloween costumes. Like that's what it was made. That's what
Right.
it was made for. It's a
Right.
cheap Halloween costume. So
We're doing like a public service by letting
it's a public service for letting anybody know this. There are proton pack levels, but also it doesn't matter. Nobody
None
cares.
of it matters.
Yeah, getting
mean, like,
defensive about toys
they
that you
care.
buy
We don't
versus
care.
like your craft that you made at home is
Yeah.
kind of yeah.
Yeah. So Abby, those are all the levels.
Mm-hmm.
What can we say?
I just said it. I think it's silly to be petty and to get and fight and squabble amongst friends. I think we should celebrate them all, and we know what they are. Like it's
I'll tell you one thing. These people are spending way too much time on Facebook and in Facebook groups.
Yeah,
It's like it's too much.
sure.
So yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Okay, so what else can we say about these proton packs? Other than I hope everybody got one. If you're listening, I hope you got one.
Yeah, I mean they seem awesome. Like I'm excited to get a hold of mine this weekend and open it up and figure out a spot for it.
Now we're going to Days of the Dead this weekend, right?
It's our tradition. We go every year.
yeah.
We
Can't
go every
wait.
year, and every
The
year I
saga
go.
of Linda Blair.
Linda Blair.
Mm-hmm. Well, she won't she?
Every year I say, "Well, I'm not going back to that convention."
But every year because it's like a drought for things to do and conventions around. Like after Christmas,
Yeah,
we haven't been on a trip since October. You know what I mean? We
Right.
haven't done anything since October. So it's like always around this time we start itching to be like, well, we'll go to any convention we can.
Right.
So
Yeah, and as soon as we get there, it's like, where do we get lunch? Somewhere outside of here.
I can't wait for it's gonna be so fun. I literally can't wait to do that.
Heather. I can't ever say her name.
Lodging
Lodging
camp?
camp.
Langan camp?
Camp.
We're not
Yeah.
sure. Nancy.
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 I've been kind of waiting for her to do a convention around us for a very long time, and now she's doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm probably not going to get any autographs or photos or anything.
I'd love to, but I don't think I have anything. I'm not sure what I'd get signed. I'd have to see what I'm not usually the kind of person that likes to just get an 8x10 signed.
right.
And I don't own any Nightmare on Elm Street posters that I'm fond of. So I don't know. I think I have a new Nightmare press kit somewhere, but I don't.
Well, that's cool.
Still, that's just 8x10s. So I don't know. I'm gonna see what I got.
Yep.
Yeah, I know it's tough to find something that you want to get signed from that. We talked about getting like the prescription pills that from the movie, but that's what I would get.
Sleepacil? What's it called?
Dreamacil, Hypnocil,
Hypnocil.
Dreamacil, Teamacil.
Sleepacil.
Yeah,
Dude, you know what? I have not
That's
watched.
hard to
Fans.
I have not watched a Nightmare on Elm Street movie in a very long time. It's been a while.
yeah.
So
You've been too busy watching Scream.
I watch Scream all the time.
Yeah. Well, it's
No.
good. One of those movies is really good.
The first one.
One of those Scream movies, they did really good on one.
So here's the deal. So our core topic tonight we're going to get to is something that was going around Twitter that Jacob brought to us that I thought was pretty fun. We're going to get to that in a second, but I do want to talk about Mandalorian real quick. So we're coming up on season 3 of The Mandalorian, which is super exciting. Big Star Wars fans over here. The last couple seasons we've actually done like a after show, like a live stream after show. We're going to bring it back this year. Abby, I think, has renamed it.
Yep. I chose a more active title, Mandatory Mando.
Mandatory Mando.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, Midnight Mando worked like during the pandemic where like everyone thought the world was ending and we're all just staying up till 6 a.m. and nothing mattered. But like now that these shows come on Wednesdays and not Fridays, I can't be doing Midnight Mando on a Wednesday night on the East Coast. So we'll figure out a time slot for it. We'll figure it out. But the new trailer's out. There's been a couple trailers. Action-packed, lots going on. How are we all feeling about Din Djarin and his adventures with Baby Grogu coming up on season 3?
I feel like it wasn't until right now when you said that name out loud I realized how dumb of a name that is. I've never thought about it because you always just call him the Mandalorian, but you just said that and I was like, what the fuck is Craig? Oh, that's his name, I guess.
It sounds like when you're in the South and a kid says, I done did it. I didn't darted it.
Yeah.
I did darted it already. Okay.
I'm excited, especially with The Last of Us coming out and like having that desire to see Pedro Pascal like taking care of and ushering a young one through the world and the dangers of the world. The last 2 episodes of The Last of Us were great, which have nothing to do necessarily with The Mandalorian, but it made me put The Mandalorian first season on because I was like, I need to hear Pedro Pascal say, like, I'm taking the child with me. Which
I wish he would say
he
it to
does
me.
say things like that in Mando.
Yeah. That season 1 rewatch of Mando has been pretty cool. That show's really great. And I know we gave Book of Boba Fett a hard time, but the Mandalorian appearances were great. And I really can't wait to see, like, to me, I've said it before, but I think the Mandalorian, the character and to further extent the show is like the closest that modern Star Wars has gotten to like, capturing like the magic of Star Wars. Like there's something about it, and it's a combination of the characters and the score and the setting and the story being told, but there's something about the Mandalorian where it just feels like Star Wars magic. Like you're rooting for the like
it's easy when every episode. It's easy when season 2 every episode is like Ahsoka, Luke, bring back Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. It's like every episode of season 2. I mean, both seasons are great,
right?
But season 2 is almost got like every single fucking episode of season 2 is like the best. It's like you think how can this show be better than this episode?
Right.
And then the next episode, it's a whole Luke Skywalker episode or something. I know that was Boba Fett, but it's like every episode has that kind of stuff in it.
Right.
You get Boba Fett coming back, Ahsoka. It's super exciting. And I'm not trying to say that it's only because they're bringing characters we know into it, but I don't know. They just somehow, with all the different Star Wars that's coming out right now or has been coming out in the last few years, some of it feels like it can't get the scales right. It's like, oh, this is bad. You relied too much on this, or, Obi-Wan came out and it didn't quite live up. But it's like, for some reason, Mandalorian, the show that I thought I would never care about before it came out, somehow was able to get the scales perfectly in the right spot. And it just works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think like bridging the world, like I think the other thing is like the time period is a really important and interesting time period that hasn't been fully explored in Star Wars, which is this period of time after Return of the Jedi and 30 years before The Force Awakens. And we know the Empire is kind of crumbling, but trying to reform, and you've got this Imperial threat that's still out there. But then you bring in like Bo-Katan and Ahsoka, where you bring these like really powerful elements from like the Clone Wars world.
Yeah.
And now we're going to be bringing in like the Rebels characters into Ahsoka, which I'm assuming that somebody's going to show up on Mandalorian. And then this entire story they're about to tell with the rightful heir to Mandalore and the Darksaber and Moff Gideon. And boy, I'm just excited. I really am excited.
It's like a healthy mix of the things we already know with the things that we're learning about Star Wars, and it just it works out. I'm less interested in the Mandalore story than, to me, my favorite thing about the Mandalorian episodes is that a lot of them are kind of standalone episodes. They're almost like Monster of the Week type episodes, but in the background, the story is happening.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm looking forward to more of that stuff. And I'm looking forward to I'm a little confused and wondering what they're going to do with Grogu and the whole jet. To me, it feels like the Jedi thing and the Luke Skywalker stuff was kind of just overlooked. It was quickly like, all right, we're done with that. And I feel like there's no way that's the end of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to know more of that. I want to know more about Grogu's
that
Jedi
conflict.
training.
Yeah. I agree with you, Jake. I think that's a storyline that I'd like to see focused on more. And I'm just really excited for the show to come back. It's like the best thing that Star Wars has put out in a while. Andor's great, but Mando stole my heart, and Grogu's like obviously the best thing to come to like toys and just the world in general.
And the fact that it worked is insane.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
think
which
you're
is
right
classic
about
Star Wars.
like
fashion.
Andor was great. Like, and every Star Wars fan I know loves Andor. But there was not one episode of Andor that got me as excited as like I'm going to be for the season 3. I'm staying up till 3 in the morning. Like I'm pumped
Well,
because it's like
it's different.
it's different.
It's
Anything can
different thing.
happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm like fucking Princess Leia might show up. Like we don't know. Like Leia and Han might be the first episode with baby Kylo Ren, and Han's gonna be like, "Don't let him, whatever,
Take care
whatever."
of him.
Yeah. Look, Luke, I don't care. Like whatever. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't care what color lightsaber.
Luke's gonna show up and like, well, my first I was gonna train a Jedi, and he decided he wanted to be a Mandalorian. Can I have your son, sister?
Whatever the voice that you just did made me
Yeah.
hope that when they bring Luke Skywalker back, it's Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, I hope Kermit the Frog is
Yeah.
playing Luke
He
Skywalker.
plays Luke Skywalker from here on out.
Actually, if they could, any Muppets they want to bring into Mandalorian would be totally fine.
It'd
by
be cool.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm predicting season 3 of Mandalorian brings back the Ewoks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would love that.
Well, it's just weird to me that we haven't seen Ewoks in a long time, and a show like Mandalorian seems like the kind of show that would have some Ewoks.
Perfect place.
It's just it's like they would fit right in with the kind of nostalgia bringing characters back. It just seems like a perfect place to have just a random episode where he's got to go to Endor or something, or I don't know, whatever.
Crash
Like, so-
lands and then is just like Leia kind of like discovers.
or
the
even if
Ewoks.
it's just some other random Ewok, doing its. I don't know.
Right.
I'm predicting that we're going to see some. It's weird that Disney has Star Wars and is putting out all these shows and is not capitalizing more on Ewoks, because like there was a time where Ewoks had 2 live action movies, a cartoon,
right.
a very rare and popular toy line based on it.
Mhm.
Why aren't we getting any Ewok stuff?
Star Wars marketing was based on Ewoks for like 3 years.
Yeah,
Mhm.
They learned the
and now
wrong
they're
lesson.
gone. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like maybe they're waiting for that perfect like vintage ripeness to
Well,
pounce on.
There was like Wicket showed up for what? 13
yeah.
seconds, maybe less.
Maybe
in
3
Rise of
seconds
Skywalker.
at the end.
3
of Rise of
seconds
Skywalker. Exactly.
with
yeah.
his son. And
Yeah.
that was cool. But like, yeah, I want to see Grogu riding on an Ewok in Endor. Like that's what I want. I also want Grogu to start talking, kind of. I want to hear what that voice sounds like.
Yeah.
I hope it's really deep for some reason. Grogu said-
It's Will Arnett. Listen,
He's like,
Ahsoka.
yeah, no, it's like Mandalorian's like, I told you, don't touch that. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my bad.
Oh, this? You didn't want me to touch this.
Oh, you don't want me to touch that, Mando? I'm gonna do it anyway. Yeah, Will Arnett. Will Arnett for Grogu. That's what I say. Yeah, nothing but excited. Stay tuned for more on what we're going to be doing. We're going to be covering it every week with a esteemed panel of Star Wars experts, including the likes of Ryan Dole, Jake Stevens, Troy Benjamin. You never know who's going to show up. It's going to be great.
Much like the Mandalorian, you never know who's going to show up.
Luke Skywalker, a
Royal Rumble.
digitally de-aged
Chris Stewart,
Chris Stewart,
like a digital Chris Stewart.
a 20-year-old Chris Stewart's going to show up. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. Anything else on Mando? I think that just excited. The trailer was cool. Go check it out. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
And then this year we also have Ahsoka, and also the Skeleton Crew is going to be on this year. So we've got a lot of live.
When is the Acolyte? That's this year too, isn't it?
Ooh, I think the Acolyte's filming right. That might be early
They're
next
filming.
year. There's
Yeah.
a lot of new live action Star Wars, and we got Star Wars Celebration coming up in a couple months. And I got my first tinge of FOMO when they started announcing those guests because it's in the UK and we're not going to be going. But
Well, we might be.
well,
Yeah, we
Not
could.
to celebration.
yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I still, if I'm there during Celebration, I got to get Ashley Eckstein's autograph.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We
for
missed
sure,
it
for
last
sure.
time.
Her and Rosario together.
I don't like that they're friendly now. I like keeping
I like
up. I want
it.
their feud to keep up.
Katy Perry and Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
It's fake. Yeah.
I know. Okay. Well, because Ahsoka, Rosario Dawson took Ashley Eckstein's backup dancers.
Oh.
That's what happened.
Exactly.
All right.
Let's get to it, Jake. I want to
Okay.
talk about this. You presented this idea to us from Twitter. Walk me
Yeah.
through it.
I just saw it going around. A lot of people are doing, what are 4 movies that you think are masterpieces that have come out in the last 10 years?
Okay. Personal masterpieces.
Yes.
Okay. I like saying
And that's it.
masterpiece.
A masterpiece.
4 movies.
That's a
Abby.
big word.
Yeah.
What was your thought process when putting this together?
Well, I looked over like a long list of movies that have come out that were impactful. And I kind of just did like a quick gut circling. And then I went a second round and was like, okay, no, not so much. And then like a third time went in and really narrowed it down to pick 4 movies that I consider masterpieces and that I think influenced and shaped movie making in general when they came out and maybe were groundbreaking and changed minds.
Okay.
So that's what I consider to be a masterpiece.
Okay. This was hard for me because first of all, the first 3 movies I picked were like from 2006 and 2001 was from like 89. And I was like, yes, Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. That had to be in the last 10 years. It just had to be. This is not an easy thing to do because we do love movies, but also I haven't seen every movie. So I'm like, I'm just going based on, I've tried, but I can't see every movie.
Name every movie.
Do it.
You have a podcast?
That's going to be my new YouTube channel. Hey guys, what's up? Craig here. Today, I'm going to name every movie.
Part 64.
Well, it's like when Mr. Beast counted to 1,000,000.
What?
Yeah, or something. I don't know.
Sounds awful.
Yeah. Anyways. Okay. 4 movies. No rules other than you consider them a masterpiece. Jacob, this was your idea, so start us off. What is your number 1?
So the one I'm going to do number 1, I kind of want to just get out of the way because I almost didn't put it on the list, and I kind of didn't want to put it on the list because I noticed it was on a lot of people's top 4, and I was like, you know what? If it's on a lot of people's top 4, I've already talked about this movie a lot. Maybe I want to leave it off and pick something else. But I couldn't find a 4th movie that I thought was as good or better than this movie, so I put Nope on there. And
Nice.
I don't feel like I need to talk about why I think Nope is a masterpiece because I've talked about it a lot. It is a really, really great movie. I think it's Jordan Peele's best movie. I think it's groundbreaking in the way it was shot, and that's not even just I think, like that is. He created a new way to film something. It's just like a really beautiful movie. It's like watching a Steven Spielberg film. It's well acted. Everything about it's great. I love it. I don't love Jordan Peele's other 2 films. I think they're good, but I don't love them. I watched this movie more than any other movie this year. I watched it like 7 times. I had like my end of the year thing popped up and it was like, you watched Nope a lot.
It's like your iPhone knows. It's like, hey, you've been watching Nope a lot.
My Letterboxd account.
Are you still watching Nope?
My Letterboxd account was
Checking.
like, hey, there's other movies. And I was like, all right.
There's other movies, sir. No, but I think that's a perfect pick because like, yeah, it made a lot of people's lists, but like it's great. It was a really it's a really good movie. That's a great first pick.
Yeah, I considered it, and I think it's cool that you picked a Jordan Peele movie.
Yeah.
If I can go next,
You
because I picked a Jordan Peele movie for number 4 too. Yeah, and I picked mine knowing that you would pick Nope too, Jake, because I know you so well.
I nope you.
I nope you. So my number 4 masterpiece was Jordan Peele's Get Out. I've talked about that movie. It was my favorite movie of the year when it came out. I think that the cultural impact it had and the effect that it had on horror movies in general of people saying like, oh, horror movies can have a deeper meaning, which is something that they've always had, but like it was rediscovered.
Yeah, but stupid people. I fucking hate hearing an idiot talk about horror movies. Sorry, I get so mad.
Yeah, well, let's not. Yeah.
But you're right. There is always like stop. Keep going.
Thank you. You stopped yourself. Yeah. Okay. Jordan Peele's amazing. I think that I really liked what he did with the Twilight Zone. I think he was kind of developing towards that with that like that understanding of like the horrific and like the unsettling and having it creep up slowly on you in unsuspecting ways when beautiful things are happening. Like I really think that that movie just was awesome. It impacted me. Allison Williams, awesome. Daniel Kaluuya, incredible. Soundtrack was great. The fact that things were flipped, script flipping, like that, just it's like that's become kind of a standard now with the way horror movies are made, especially elevated ones. Yeah, I think that it deserves fourth place for me. I think that it was a huge movie, and I loved Nope as well, but I think I had to say Get Out as mine. Made sense.
Dang. Well, I guess I'll go next. I also picked a Jordan Peele movie. Just kidding.
I was like, what?
Guys, I watch Us every week. No, I don't. Although I liked Us. I like all of Jordan Peele's movie. And also, I do want to note, you've made it as a creator and a director where people feel like obligated to say your name before the movie. Like Jordan Peele's Get Out.
Also, Jordan Peele has only put out 3 movies ever in his lifetime. They've all come out in the last 10 years, and 2 of the 3 we've already put on our masterpiece list.
Right.
So,
and if you think about
so
like the
job,
trajectory, he was just like he was a sketch comedy guy to everyone. And like kind of just came out of nowhere, I suppose. So yeah, you think of it like this was Jordan Peele.
I just
this
remember
was like when he became a name.
I remember talking to after real quick anecdote, when Get Out came out, it was getting all the hype, all the Oscar buzz. My parents watched it and they both just hated it. They were like,
I'm sure they didn't get it.
They were like, that was so stupid. Oh, none of that could ever really. I was like, they're like, Craig, that was a bad recommendation. I was like, guys, guess what? It's winning Oscars. Like, it's not just me. Right? I didn't call you and say you got to see Get Out. It's a personal Craig favorite. No one's ever fucking heard of it. Like,
yeah, that's why I'm careful with my recommendations now. I used to like recommend good movies like that.
Piss me off
to everyone. Then you realize
it's like what
everyone deserves it.
My stepmom, she walked out of Inception when we saw it, and then she picked up me and my dad. She's like, I don't want movies that try to confuse me. I don't like that. Okay.
Speaking of Inception, Craig's number 4 is...
It's interesting. There's no Christopher Nolan movies on my list, but I do think Christopher Nolan is a severely overrated director. But I love all of his movies. But like, they're never like they're all besides The Dark Knight. Like, they're all great. But come on, Interstellar. What the fuck's? I don't want movies that try to confuse me. You know what I'm saying?
It'll get you through a long plane ride. I'll say that much.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, my number. I think you guys are going to be very shocked in my first movie. It is also a horror movie, and it is The Witch. Now, let me explain this to you. I've only seen this movie once. Okay, and I don't remember every piece of this movie. Okay, I barely remember it, to be honest, but I can tap into the way it made me feel. And very few movies make you like that. Movie was beautifully acted, beautifully written. It's weird, it's scary, and also it like had a profound effect on me as just somebody watching a movie. Like, I am ADD brain out the wazoo. I have trouble focusing. I will fall asleep during a movie. I will get distracted. I'll start editing a video. And that's a problem for me. But I remember watching The Witch and being completely enthralled with what I was seeing. And it was really scary and off-putting, but like really a wonderful cinematic experience. And for that reason, I put it on my list. Now, there's some other horror movies that I felt the same way about. I have a feeling they might come up throughout this discussion, but yeah, I'm going to put The Witch on my list, and I want to do a rewatch very soon.
Well, also, now I want this 12-year-old girl from Firestarter to listen to this. Okay?
She's here.
What's her name? I feel like we should just.
I forget her name.
Razzie McRazerson.
I want her to listen to this. The Witch also contains a 12-year-old actor who performs this like jaw-dropping 5-minute monologue by himself in the third act of this movie that is like super emotional and crazy, and it's kind of almost the climax of the film. So go watch that performance and then cry about a Razzie nomination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Plus Black Phillip. It made an impact on me.
Yeah, you just got that.
It made an impact on me.
Mm-hmm.
It did.
Love. I know how impacted you were by Black Phillip.
Stop it! Why are you making fun of me?
What's happening? Is this an inside joke?
No, I just
she's-
saw.
Craig, do you have a
trying
sex
to-
thing that's called the Black Phillip?
Yeah.
I do have a
Craig
sex thing called the
loves
Black
to do the
Phillip.
Black Phillip.
No,
Yeah.
listen, here's the deal. Abby, after this episode, she's going to be like, you don't like The Witch. I can hear it. I know she's going to say
I
it.
like that movie more than you, I think.
Well, is it on your list?
No, it's not.
There you go.
But who's the name of the act? What's the name of the actress? Is what I was going to ask you.
Black Phillip.
No.
I love The Witch. I thought it was great. I think that I'm going to watch it again very soon.
You should. It was good.
All right.
Anya Taylor-Joy. That's who was in it.
Oh yeah. She's
Who else
also
in the
great,
menu? Yeah.
except for that one movie she was in. The
Edgar Wright?
X-Men.
the Edgar Wright movie.
I still haven't seen that.
What was that movie called? Red Summer. It sucked.
One Night in Soho.
Yeah,
Red
One Night in
Summer?
Soho. That was like one night in Sleep Zone because that's where I went. It just wasn't good, but she's a good actress, and the menu was great. Okay, who's up first or second again? Jacob,
my-
Jake.
go for it.
Cool. So the next movie I got on here is The Shape of Water.
Fuck yeah.
Ooh.
I became obsessed with that movie when it came out. I don't know. There's something really beautiful about that film. It's weird to have kind of like an unconventional love story between like a deaf woman and a fish. That's weird. Like when you say that out loud, it's very weird, but it works. And everybody is wonderful and amazing in that film. And Michael Shannon is terrifying.
Very
in that
terrifying.
movie. He's so scary. Guillermo del Toro is, Guillermo del Toro has put out a lot of amazing films, and I think The Shape of Water is maybe it's the best one. Like that movie is, I don't know. I remember watching it on an airplane once and forgetting how much nudity is in that movie. There's like a lot of nudity and masturbation, and they kept like the pilot would come on like every time she was like in the tub masturbating.
Yeah.
And it would pause on the screen, so I'm just like, "Oh my god!" I'm
So,
like,
a couple
"What's
things.
in here?"
I can relate.
First of all,
Then I got home and I watched it again, and then I did the pausing.
Yeah.
then I went to the tub. First of all, I don't think we've ever actually said the word masturbate on this show.
Good for
we're
us.
We're like smart people.
Yeah.
Like usually
She
we're
was
like,
Sex
jerking off.
positive.
yeah, she
Yeah.
was
Yeah. She's using the egg timer.
Look it off to that fish man.
It's awesome.
jerking off for
That,
what?
we all
movie,
do
that
it.
movie's just awesome. Like everything about it, the design of the creature. Like it's like a Creature from the Black Lagoon is like a classic film. Everybody really loved. A lot of people really love that movie, and it's kind of gone through a developmental hell trying to get a remake of that movie. And this
Right.
was kind of like a weird remake of Creature from the Black Lagoon, but he just took it a step, some would say,
Mhm.
too far. But
So, first of all, Jake, when you watch it on the plane, it's great
Yeah.
for the people next to you, me
Mhm.
and Abby. This is great. I did really like that movie, and that is a movie that got a lot of like. Did it win Best Picture?
I think it did win Best. It won something.
Yeah.
It's on my
Yeah.
list. I'll say that.
Oh, it's on your list.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
Go ahead and say.
Well, it's number 2 on my list, so
Okay.
I may as well just agree with you and say that it's
Yeah.
a magical retelling of the Little Mermaid that's perfected, in my opinion. I think Sally Hawkins and Doug Jones are both incredible, and like you said, the star-crossed lovers that are doomed essentially because they're both flawed in the way that humans perceive them, coming together and falling in love and saving each other is beautiful, and that story and the visuals, Guillermo del Toro's like the the paintbrush that he paints with, and the palette, and just the sets and the costumes and the acting and everything was really moving to me. And that
It's phenomenal.
was a
It's a
great
great movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Jay, I want you to keep watching on the plane. When you said the pilot, I
to
thought,
get interrupted while you're watching a video, that's annoying.
yeah, but also when
I know how that is.
No, but listen. Hey, hon, you home?
No, I'm talking about like the barrage of the group chat that's just like, bam, bam, bam.
Oh, well, that's we gotta
I'm like, guys, shut up.
silence your notifications for
Watch on your iPad or something.
for egg
I
time.
don't have an iPad.
For egg
I
timer
don't have an iPad for
time.
egg time.
I thought you were gonna say the pilot was like the pilot knows like he's tracking what everybody's watching, and I just imagine,
I can see you.
no, I just imagine it be like Jacob Walsh, row 15, seat C. This is a great scene right here. I really like the contrast in color that Guillermo del Toro used here to portray the 1960s setting. Also, the guy who's like the fucking the neighbor,
guy?
the neighbor, the guy from Richard Jenkins. I think
that is why again because of
Great
that
actor.
queer storyline is like that's
Fucking
so
awesome.
heartbreaking
Okay.
and relatable.
So do you want to skip yours?
I'll skip 2 and I'll say my 3 if you
All
want.
right, go for it. So your next one.
My number 3 is one that is on a lot of people's lists this year in particular because it did just come out. Well, a few months back. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Daniel Kwan and Daniel Schweimer, something I don't know his last name is.
That
Sorry.
can't be his
Two
last name.
Daniels directed this movie.
The Daniels.
The Daniels.
They go by the Daniels.
Ron Daniels did not direct this movie.
No, the third Daniels was not included of the brothers Daniels.
Just two Daniels.
Stop. I loved this movie and was completely caught off guard and surprised and kind of knocked back in my seat by it. I would compare my feelings to the same feelings I had when I saw The Matrix for the first time, as in like, I didn't know a movie could do this. I didn't know we could stop and have a story within a multiverse, and I had no idea that I would be able to care about this. I didn't know about this story. I didn't know how much I would care about the characters. I had no idea I was going to be crying like at the 3/4 point mark where it's like, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a montage where one of the characters is a famous actress and renews her love for her partner, and I cried very hard watching that. And then they had like a maternal reconciliation moment in the movie later on, and I was like, well, fuck me, this is just, and it's got raccoon stuff, and it's got cute silly hot dog finger lovers and like all of that ridiculousness that to me is sort of that, like, that's a statement on life. Like this is a bunch of crazy shit happening. You're really fucking lucky if you find somebody that you love. And showing that love and expressing it without hindrances and healing is really special to me. So I love Michelle Yeoh. She's fantastic. And I think that this movie's going to win a lot of awards this year, and everyone's saying it, but it meant something special to me personally. So it's on my list.
I've got a couple things to say. First of all, it's a great movie. Mm-hmm. Did you guys see the A24 thing about how before the movie came out, they reached out to Oscar Mayer for like they were going to try to do some sort of...
They say no?
They didn't respond. Fuck, you know what? Fuck Oscar Mayer.
They feel dumb now.
Yeah, they could have been like...
Somebody got fired at Oscar Mayer.
Oscar who?
The head of Oscar was watching that movie and he goes, hold on, how come it was on Oscar Mayer? And then his assistant goes, well, sir, they did reach out. And he got fired.
He did?
Oscar fired that guy.
Oscar
awesome.
Fired Mayer, actually.
He works at Hebrew National now.
Yeah. Yes, he does. Jamie Lee Curtis got nominated for Best Supporting Actress. I disagree with that. I think she's like... I think the movie's amazing, and I think she's good in it, but like... I know we're talking... I'm not trying to shit on it. Like, I just wanted to say she got... Can I just say it? I got weird feelings about Jamie Lee Curtis these days. She gets on my nerves.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. I get it. I think that...
But she's good in the movie.
The ridiculousness, absurdity of her. I think it's all... I don't know. Maybe that's part of the whole wanting to nominate it thing.
She's made 3 too many Halloween movies for me to care anymore.
Sure.
Anything else on that app?
No, that's my number 3, yeah.
Okay. I'm next. And my pick is The Hateful Eight. I love Quentin Tarantino, one of my favorite movie directors. I love all of his movies. He hasn't made one yet that I don't absolutely adore. But Hateful Eight is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. I was a little bit late on Inglourious Basterds. I didn't see it in theaters, so I didn't get caught up in the hype when it first came out. I do think it's a phenomenal movie. I did love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, obviously Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, everything. Django. But to me, Hateful Eight is the cinematic experience I had. And you guys, I'm going based on these experiences I had. Watching it in theaters with that intermission, watching peak performances from Sam Jackson, Walton Goggins, the Channing Tatum stuff's really amazing and silly, and all the performances from God, I'm blanking on her name.
My girl.
Yeah, what's her name? What is it from
Jennifer
Jason Leigh. Thank you. Jennifer Jason Leigh is incredible. And obviously Kurt Russell with just an unbelievable, like, just every second he is on screen, you are just like, I don't want to speak for you guys, but I am just like holding on to every word coming out of his mouth, and I'm just smiling and laughing. And the movie constantly, for a movie that is essentially like a play, you know, it's like a 4-act structured play where it's just a dialogue, like I almost called every Pulp Fiction movie. Every Quentin Tarantino movie is dialogue heavy, but this is like, you're in one setting basically for almost the entirety of this movie, and to see the story unfold and see those acting performances, it's just beautiful. It's just a wonderful, wonderful movie. I revisit it at least once a year since it came out, and I love it. And I've got that itch to. I love Tarantino. I'm not quite as high on Once Upon a Time as Hollywood as I think everybody else. Like, it's great, but like, to me. Yeah. Hateful Eight's my favorite, and that's why I made my list.
I mean, I can't argue with that. I think it's probably top 3 Quentin Tarantino movies.
Yeah. I just love it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you do. Bought you all the figures. You're a big fan.
Craig went through the house looking at his toys, and that's how he picked his movies. He was like, I got the Hateful Eight.
Oh,
yeah.
I got my Black Phillip
Black Phillips over here in the corner.
My Black Phillip Squishmallow. Whatever the things are called.
What?
Paul Dano. I don't know what those things are called. What are they called?
Squishmallow. That Jazzwares Toy of the Year 2022.
Thank you.
Only my favorite toy.
What, do you work for Jazzwares now?
I wish I did. I would be a great rep. If they're watching. Hey, I just want to give myself a pat on the back because I didn't put Guardians of the Galaxy on this list.
You didn't?
Wow.
I didn't. It's not.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. It's like, here's the thing: if there are lots of toys for it, is it really a masterpiece? Like, or do masterpieces maybe have less merchandise because they?
I mean,
my thing is like, that's true.
My thing is like, can a superhero movie be considered a masterpiece?
I think so.
Well, yeah, that's not really fair. Yeah, I love that movie, but I recognize that standing shoulder to shoulder with the rest of my movies, it can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. All right, Jake, you're next.
Cool. So speaking of Paul Dano, and speaking of the Daniels, I picked their other movie that I feel has got a slight. I think it's a better movie, Swiss Army Man.
Oh,
okay.
Swiss Army Man is like this weird little. I feel like it's hidden, and I feel like a lot of people haven't seen it. And if anything, I love Everything Everywhere. I think that movie's great. And I knew it was going to be great because I love Swiss Army Man so much. I've watched Swiss Army Man so many times. Whenever I saw the trailer for Everything Everywhere, I was like, oh, these guys are making another movie. I'm there. But to me, Swiss Army Man has got a slight edge above it. It's such a weird. Have you guys seen Swiss Army Man?
No, unfortunately.
I'm mad
it
that
is
I haven't.
Such a weird fucking movie. In the for anybody who hasn't seen it, the plot is like Paul Dano is he's stranded on an island and he finds a dead body and he becomes best friends with that dead body. And the dead body is played by Daniel Radcliffe, and they have this really weird, like, surreal relationship where the dead body kind of comes to life and he's teaching Daniel Radcliffe's character like about life because he's forgotten everything because he's dead, and he like just teaches him about the world, and kind of in the process realizes that he doesn't want to be lost anymore. And he tries to kill himself at the beginning of the movie. He's like, oh, maybe I don't want that. And it's just this really weird, awesome film, and music is really important in it, and the characters are always kind of humming, and the humming will turn into the film's score, and it's awesome. There's also like kind of a weird, the ending is sort of a twisty, weird gut punch of an ending. It's just, it's a fucking awesome movie, dude. Yeah. So it's my number 2.
Yeah, you're selling it for me.
It's great.
It's been on my list for a long time.
It's very funny. It's very funny. It's charming. It's like, it's everything that Everything Everywhere is, but
right.
Well, shit, let's watch it.
In a different present.
Let's do it.
Cool.
That's great. Great pick. All right. So you have one more left?
Yeah, I think it's got to be the same as Jake's.
Well, I've got 2 left.
Okay.
And Jake, you have 1 or 2 left.
I got 1.
Okay, so I've got 2 left.
Yeah, then you go.
Because we
ahead.
skip.
Yeah, go.
Okay, so I am going to select. Well, okay, I've got a couple runner-ups when we're done with this, but let me select Gone Girl, which is a personal favorite of mine. But love David Fincher.
You think Gone Girl is David Fincher's best movie?
In the last 10 years. I mean, yeah, I do. Well, what are we comparing it against?
I mean, to me, Masterpiece feels like the kind of thing where if you think it's their masterpiece, that means it's their best movie, right? You can't have multiple masterpieces. A masterpiece is like the one. It's
Jurassic Park, Jaws, and E.T. are all masterpieces.
Yeah, but still, to me, I would call Jaws the masterpiece out of the 3. They're all amazing. I'm not saying that the rest aren't good, but to me, I feel like a masterpiece means that is the one that is the top of this person's personal work.
What do you consider to be David Fincher's best?
I'm
Jake?
looking up his filmography right now.
Maybe Zodiac?
Zodiac, Fight Club 7.
I'm not saying Gone Girl's not good. I love Gone, but that's the same reason I didn't put any Quentin Tarantino on my list, because Inglourious Bastards to me is the best film he's ever made.
I'll put it this way: if I'm going to sit down and watch a David Fincher movie, it's going to be Gone Girl. So for me, because I like 7. I used to love Fight Club, and Zodiac to me is really an incredible movie, but it's not something I'm not inclined to really revisit it that much. Gone Girl has, it's got one of my favorite actors in it, Carrie Coon, and Ben Affleck. I have a little twist for you guys. I love it. I love
it's good. Yeah,
I love the story that is told. I think the performances are like all really just like a touch left of center. Neil Patrick Harris is great. Ben Affleck's great. Carrie Coon's great. Everybody's great in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I that's a movie I watch twice a year, no matter what. I'm like, it'll be a Saturday morning, and I'm like, ooh,
that's hard.
Because to
that's
me,
a hard watch. That movie's kind of a rough.
The movie like Craig loves,
but that movie is like kind of a rough watch. Like, there's nothing. It's not like the ending is cathartic or
no.
There's nothing about that movie that like feels good. It's a good movie, but you don't watch it and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to go fucking like.
Well, to me, Rosamund Pike is one of the great villains in cinema history. Like,
but is she the villain?
100%.
I would say she is, but the ending is.
She's to watch it again.
Fucking yeah, I'm about to get so mad. We should do a Gone Girl.
It's been a long time. I've seen it a couple times, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. But all I'm remembering is that she disappears or whatever. But Ben Affleck's character is kind of a piece of shit, and that's why she does it.
He's a piece of shit.
But I guess she does murder somebody. I guess she does murder somebody at some point.
He's a piece of shit, but she frames him to be like
a bigger
evil.
Piece of shit.
Right. He's just like,
but he
regular
is Ben
level
Affleck,
piece
so.
of shit. He's regular. He's basically just.
It's totally believable.
He's just being Ben Affleck. I think I'm
gonna rewatch that.
Cool.
Soon.
Yay.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Gone Girl rewatch.
Okay. Army Knife.
Man, hey, I've never seen it. I have had a Swiss Army knife though. I had a collection growing up.
Okay, so we're down to our last ones, and this was. Can I just get, real quick? There's a movie I wanted to highlight that I consider master storytelling, but the subject matter is really heavy. That movie is Spotlight. It is one of my favorite genres of film, which is the news, people researching a story and trying to break it. It's very specific.
What movie was Spotlight?
So Spotlight is a story about the Boston Globe with Michael Keaton and Mark Ruffalo breaking open the story of the abuses happening in the Catholic Church.
Oh, I don't think I saw that one.
It's
I
it's badass. I mean, it's just, again, it falls into the category of really great story, really well acted. It's infuriating at times, and I just wanted to highlight that as one of my favorites of the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, cool. Final round. Here we go. Jacob Walsh, what is this is fun. I'm glad we did this. What is your masterpiece?
Well, I mean, I feel like you guys probably both know what this. Whenever the minute I called Craig and I was talking to him about this idea,
Yeah.
and he goes, "I can name your 4 right now," and he named 4 movies. He named 4 movies. 2 of them were wrong, but 2 of them were right. And the number 1 was Whiplash. Whiplash is I love Whiplash so much. Anybody who watches or listens to the show knows that I really love that movie. I fell in love with it. It is so tense. And the entire movie is this really kind of rough buildup between these 2 people who are musicians. And in the end is so cathartic, and it feels so good to watch that last like 10 minutes where there's no dialogue. Like the fact that they wrote a movie and they said, we're going to do an entire film, and then our whole last 10 minutes of the movie, we're going to resolve the entire plot with 0 dialogue. It's just 2 guys looking at each other, and one of them's just standing there the whole time. Like that's a rare thing to do in film. Like that's a ballsy thing to do in a film, and it is pulled off so well. J.K. Simmons is amazing in everything. This is his best performance of his life. This movie is so good. I just love it. It makes me feel so good to watch this movie over and over and over. Whiplash.
Right.
Whiplash is 100% one of the best movies I've seen in my life. It's great.
J.K. Simmons is amazing. We should acknowledge that none of us picked Ghostbusters Afterlife. Anytime we do lists, we don't. Ghostbusters is its own thing.
It's its own thing. You
category.
can't. Yeah.
It's its own thing. I do think it is.
We talk about Ghostbusters every week. So
second of my life.
It's over here. It's on a different plane than these.
J.K.
movies.
is great though.
Yeah.
And I get a funny anecdote. I was wearing my Ivo Shandor J.K. Simmons portrait T-shirt, and I went to the post office the other day. This lady, the kind lady who works at the post office, actually, it was not the normal lady that works there. Kind of drives me crazy, but this was a new lady. She's very nice, and she's staring at it, and she's looking at it, and she goes, "Who's on your shirt?" And I went, "Oh, it's an actor, J.K. Simmons." And she went, "Oh, that's what I thought. Does he look like that now?" I was like, "No."
That's funny. That's
Yeah,
funny.
it was
She thought
funny
it was
that-
in there. I've been rewatching. I've been rewatching that show Oz. You guys ever seen Oz before?
No,
I haven't seen it, but yeah.
It's one of the best shows on TV, and I have 2 episodes left, and I will have watched the entire series for the 3rd time.
That's awesome.
Wow.
J.K. Simmons is one of the main characters, and it's like his character is a piece of shit. He's like he's like the head of the Aryan Brotherhood.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's like,
But it's like the closest he is to like his character in Whiplash. You know, he's always yelling at somebody or beating somebody up or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. It's just
That's awesome.
it's such a good. Everything about Whiplash is perfect.
fuck yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that's great. I thought we were going to pick the same thing.
I'm wondering what yours is that we didn't.
You don't have to think too hard.
I know what it is. I know
You
what
really
it is.
don't. Yeah.
It was almost on my list, I bet.
Yes, Abby loves her A24 films.
Yeah, they don't make movies.
They're not movies, they're films.
Don't say
and they
that.
have expensive thread count shirts that go
They
along
do
with
put out
them.
some bad movies as well. So
Yeah,
I
we don't. Yeah.
Yeah, but those are the A22s. We're talking A24. Okay.
Y'all got any of those A24s rims?
All right, go ahead and talk about the whale.
Yeah, I got some A24s right here. It's Midsummer.
Oh.
Like, there's no way to fanfare it up. I love this movie. I love Florence Pugh in the role as, now I'm not remembering her name. I'm so sorry.
Girl.
You know, main girl. No, Ari Aster, the director, Eister.
Yeah.
God, it's a great movie.
fucking awesome.
I've watched it many times. I've watched the extended cut. I relate so much to the way that Florence Pugh is sort of like feeling and the emotional weight of the beginning of the movie is just
Pretty terrifying.
It's terrifying, and it sets the tone for some bizarre and upsetting stuff, which happens in a beautiful place amongst flowers and lovely
I think you can kind of spoil it at this point. People should know Midsummer.
Yeah, everybody should know at this point. It's it's awesome and beautiful and emotional cacophony. It's insanely well produced and has the best visuals. And I'm a sucker for her horror, like right up against the beautiful, like the romantic, and That's what I think this movie has a lot of, but it also has the catharsis at the end of it with the burning and her making it out, like, it's just awesome. There's the bear. There's so many good kills in the movie. It's a psychological like mind fuck, and it's the kind of thing that I went and read about and watched a bunch, and because it'll reward you for like future viewings. There's a lot of like little things, and the extended cut does have really good scenes too. And I recommend it very highly. It's a great movie, aesthetically, visually, like the best film ever made, I think.
Jacob, I'm surprised that was not on your list.
I almost I thought about putting this or Hereditary on my list, and I couldn't decide. I've said in the past, I think Hereditary might be a better, more original movie, but I have only been able to watch Hereditary twice. And
let me cut you off.
Hereditary is like a movie that you don't. Go ahead.
I wanted to talk about my number one here. It's not. By the way, I didn't rank these. You ranked yours, but mine.
I didn't rank mine either. But yeah.
Oh.
Here's what I want to do.
You did, Abby.
Thank you, Jacob.
Whiplash is on my list. Everything Jake said about Whiplash, I agree with.
So that was your last movie.
So that was my last one. But I want to remove The Witch and put Hereditary on there because I didn't.
You're gonna do a mid. Okay.
What about Black Phillip?
This is what we call a mid Kreger. All right.
Yes,
Abby
appropriate.
Abby texted Craig 10 minutes ago, said, "You better pick a new fucking movie. I know you don't like that movie."
No, listen.
Take it seriously.
Here's the fucking deal.
Like, you saw it once, and I liked it more.
I loved it, but I thought for some reason, I thought everyone was going to pick Hereditary, so I was trying to be interesting.
Yeah, I get it.
I've only seen it once. I can't go back and watch it. It's like
Hereditary?
super spicy hot wings. You're like, I'm not
can only eat
that
those
stomachache again.
You can only eat those one time.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that rule. If you get the super spicy. Hereditary, another movie I've only seen one time. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. That movie, I'm trying to get my thoughts here. That movie, first of all, it's wonderfully made, wonderfully acted, beautiful. Like everything you guys said about Midsummer, same thing as Hereditary. Much different color palette and stuff like that. That movie gave me not like, ooh, that movie stressed me out. That movie gave me like anxiety. Like, that movie gave me real, like, actual panic attack level anxiety.
It's why you can't remember things, because you had to like block them out literally. Because you're like, whoa.
The first 20 minutes of that movie, the tension that they weave, and that fucking little girl eating those fucking peanuts.
Did you guys see that in the theater, or did you see it?
No, that was
a home.
That was an at-homer.
Ooh.
And that movie gave me nightmares.
I would have preferred the company of others actually in a movie theater rather than sitting at home.
Rather than Craig falling asleep beside you while you're watching the most horrifying movie.
It's horrifying, it's terrifying, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, and I'm all in on that director. Anything he does, I'm buying. I'm buying all the stock. The next one, the Joaquin Phoenix one, looks crazy and weird.
Awesome. It looks awesome.
But that's my favorite kind of horror movie. I don't like when things are overly gory and like that's fine and it's fun, but to me, like the deep psychological terror that I experienced watching that fucking family,
it's weird
what they went through with that mom.
It's weird because like I feel like when you sit outside of the movie and you're thinking about the things that happen inside that movie, I'm like, oh, it doesn't sound. I've seen movies where really horrible things happen.
Right.
But there's something about the way he weaves it and the way the movie's so well acted and shot, and there's something about the way he presents those things that make them scarier than I feel like they would be in a different movie. And I know we've talked about Hereditary before, and I remember when it first started getting buzz, one of the things that was on the poster and the trailers was like, this is the scariest movie since The Exorcist, which made me peace out on it. It made me be like, nope, whenever movies say that, they're never good. Like, it's not, don't compare yourself to like a a 40-year-old classic film. Like that's like being like, this is better than The Shining. It's just a weird.
Right.
It's weird. This book is better than Stephen King. It's like that kind of thing. But then I went and saw it, and I was like, hey, it does give me some of the same
Yes, twisted
some of the
evil.
weird. Yeah, it does give me some of the same vibes. And that's maybe why I would have picked that over Hereditary or over Midsommar. But I have definitely watched Midsommar over and over and over. And it's because that movie is a little more digestible. And you kind of feel good at the end of that movie because
Exactly.
Danny gets what she deserves and she gets all the shitty people out of her life. So
Mhm.
those are both perfect movies.
Yeah, I got to have some beauty to look at.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah,
that to me
they're-
just
they're-
sends it over the edge.
It's bleak.
There's no redeeming, like
bleak.
Hereditary's great, but there's nothing like, oh, but in the end it was fun. It was like,
Right.
no, in the end she
That
sawed
was
her
the
own
end.
head off with a piano
Right.
wire. So
Exactly.
Fuck.
The horror.
Did you guys have any other like close calls or runner up?
I didn't write any down because you told me you were making a list of a lot of runner-ups, so I just didn't even do it. But 10 years is a lot of movies.
Yeah, close. Annihilation. I love
Yeah.
that
Oh,
movie.
yeah. I think I said that. I think, Craig, that was one of the movies you thought I was going to put on my list, and that's a very beautiful, well-made film too. That
Mhm.
deserves.
You
to
know
be
what's
on
a
the
bummer
list.
to me? You know what? It's a real bummer to me, and then we can wrap up. We grew up in a time period of classic comedies, and there are movies that came out in the 90s. Like, I would consider Dumb and Dumber a masterpiece. I
Dumb and
would.
Dumber is
Yeah, it is.
it's the funniest movie that's ever been made. I think.
Scientifically proven.
And,
Yeah.
To put you in a better mood when you're in a bad one, yeah.
and comedy is in a weird spot, not because of like cancel culture or anything like that. It's just there just
No,
doesn't
it's
seem to
just-
be like a lot of great comedies.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite genre of film. So like, I really wish there was like, there's a lot of movies that are funny, but I feel like the modern day comedies, like Ant-Man, like, okay, I'm gonna chuckle, but it's not a comedy,
Yeah.
Like,
right.
where's Kingpin? Give me that. But anyways,
yeah.
Well, there was no basketball. When did basketball come out? 2000.
That's too low.
25 years ago.
Yeah, 25.
Still on our list, though.
I'm
Still on
just
my
going through
list.
the initial list I made. We covered a lot of Fury Road. I put on there. Like, I know a lot of people love that. It's
I love that movie.
good, but it's not.
Haven't watched it recently.
I put Rogue One on there, but just not. It's great. It's a great Star Wars movie. So.
It's good. It's very good. I wouldn't call it a masterpiece.
It is really good.
X.
Craig, are you just Googling?
Yeah, I thought about putting X, but then I was like, you know what? It's a personal favorite for me. I don't know how much impact it had beyond just
Yeah.
my own life.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily know that it was like, doesn't seem like the thing that like everyone's trying to recreate or mimic, but
Right.
it was, for me, beautiful thematic elements that I found scary, beautiful, terrifying, all of those things that,
All those things.
and like, being able, like a survivor story, which I love.
Right. It's good stuff. Well, this was fun. I like doing this list. This was
Yeah.
great.
It was
This
good.
was a lot of fun. We appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for joining us. Have some podcast. If you're new, make sure that you follow us here on YouTube or on at YHS Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. We have a Patreon. You can follow us at patreon.com/yeshave some. Get in on all of our bonus content and stay tuned because we got some fun stuff coming up for the channel, including live streams and a whole lot more. Abigail, do you have anything else to say?
There's always going to be more movies to fall in love with, which is why we go to the movie theater and rent movies. I want to see Megan. I don't know if it's going to be a masterpiece, but I'm going to keep talking about wanting to see that movie.
wanna see it.
At first I wanted nothing to do with that movie. It
Mhm.
looks like, to me, the trailer was really bad. It looked bad. But then when the movie came out, I'm realizing I've seen a lot of people's comments about it, and they're like, "Hey, so the trailer doesn't really do this movie justice. This movie's a comedy."
Yeah, that's what.
And I didn't know that it was the trailer doesn't look like a comedy, but everybody that I've seen talk about it is like, "Hey, this movie's genuinely funny."
Yeah,
So
that's,
I do also kind of want to see it now once I figured that out. But before I was like, no, this looks bad. But now I'm interested.
yeah. You could see the cat a little. This is Jane. Hi.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's the reason I want to see it because I've heard it's
I wanna
like,
see Megan. I
incredibly
heard you
campy
can
and that
see
she's
the
just
cat.
like always serving in the movies. So I just want to see it. You can always see the cat.
You can always see the cat. Yeah, it'll be fun. We got some big movies coming out this year, and we got Scream right around the corner. Then we're gonna have Indiana Jones. We're gonna have
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume
Ant-Man's
3.
in like a month.
Ant-Man, Guardians, lots
Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear. That's the big one.
Good. It's gonna be good. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out. My name is Craig Goldberg. Once again, Abigail Gardner, Jake Walsh. You can follow us on all of our channels.
Thanks, folks.
I almost restarted the podcast.
I like Craig's new sign off. Thanks for hanging out. It's like,
Thanks.
what are you saying?
I gotta try some new.
Craig's tired.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Stay
Thanks
tough.
for hanging out.
Hey, thanks for hanging out.
Love this crew. That's what I always say. When I'm tired, love this crew.
Bye, everybody.
All right.
Bye.